welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C. Super excited to be here with you guys today. So many things are just going on around in all our communities. Super excited for what's to come. This is brought to you by the Connected Leaders Academy, Root Financial Services. It's also BALM Global, Breathe Capital Services, as Breathe Capital Planning, as well as the Author Millionaire Academy. I'm super excited to have our guest today. But before we introduce her, just a few updates about BALM Global. Our community is ready to welcome everyone who's interested in joining our Empower to Inspire community and our tour that's coming up in 2024, and how you can get involved with everything we have going on. And just know, ladies, that for the Empower to Inspire, you're also getting Ladies of Leadership. Yes, 2 communities for 1 membership. Super excited about what's going on with that. And we're also going to throw out a calendar soon where you can jump in on any of our events, whether virtually or live, in order before they actually happen. So look out for that. Let's get into our amazing guest. I actually had the privilege of being connected with her for my event, my first Empower to Inspire event, which happened May 20th. And it was just great getting to know her, what she's about, what her mission is. And she actually volunteered for that event as well. So super appreciate her on that. But this is Melissa Alves, also known as Mel. And she's an event host and inspirational mentor to women entrepreneurs around the globe. Melissa is on a mission to help women business owners ditch the fear of showing up online and learn how video can bring them new leads. With her high energy and let's go attitude, she has been an inspirational mentor to many. Also known for her contagious spirit and love of life, you too will grow and learn from her teaching style. She is a proud mother of 2 boys and married for over 2 decades. When she's not working, you will find her family creating memories. I have actually been enjoying her journey on social media with her family. Absolutely beautiful and amazing. But without further ado, let's bring Melissa on. Hey, Melissa, how are you?
Hey, glad to be here. Happy to be here on a Monday, first day of the week.
Yes, so exciting to have you on. We've been trying for some time, and it was finally the right time to get you on. And welcome to the BALM family. Now we're attached at the hip, so you are initially inaugurated with our community. So
Thank
we
you.
welcome you, and thank you for bringing your story and your journey on. As you know, we bring guests always and highlight them to showcase what they do and how they're changing the atmospheres in their communities, whether the impact is really reaching so many, right? So tell us your story. First, tell us where you're from, who Melissa was, and who Melissa is today.
Thank you for the introduction, and I'm happy to be here and share a little bit about me, Nikki. Well, who I was, I've always been a personal development junkie. Okay, anybody can relate, right? Gone to seminars, conferences, read many books, right? It's funny because I believe that if somebody has walked the walk before you, why not lead and why not follow, right? Like, why make the same mistakes if they've already made them? So one thing that I value is growing and learning from the greats. You know, my first book that I read when I was 12 years old, mind you, I understood 10% of what was in that book. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Wow, at 10?
12.
12. Oh,
12.
wow.
Yeah. It is an amazing, incredible book. Okay. It has evolved from when I read it, right? Let me tell you that man is a legend, right? And then there's so many other greats. So when I say that I'm a junkie, is because I believe that all that personal development that my parents instilled in me when I was at that age helped me be the person that I am today, because adversity comes whether you like it or not. Life happens, and like Tony Robbins says, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Like, things are aligned in life for you to grow. And if you don't grow, life will throw another rock at you so you can keep on learning from that. So, I mentioned I'm married over 2 decades. I got married really young, and we had in the beginning of our marriage we had a very low what is it called, low battle, or so the that my faith and my personal growth is what helped me and our marriage. Now, as we're into our second decade, I continue to grow and I continue to learn, because once you stop learning is when you're under the grave, when you're underground. So it's something that I value. I'm an avid learner, and what I learn I want to teach.
Yeah, I love that because it's so true that we take all these icons, these mentors, these gurus in these spaces, and we get intimidated because, like, wow, they've been through some stuff. Like, how can I duplicate that? And I love that you said that in the very beginning, where you take these role models that you kind of look up to and kind of see a similar vision of a lifestyle that you kind of want to create for yourself and your family, but it's always going to be our personal touch on it, right? We have to start thinking that, like, we don't want to be exactly like the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardones. We want something that they have, and it's really that freedom and that lifestyle. So when we go and we like kind of pick and pull what works for us and what we can, and again, you said something very important. You just don't go to these seminars, conference, summits, whatever you want to call them, right? A group of just amazing growth minded people together and take that information and really have to apply it. Like, you have to apply it. Nothing happens unless you do something with the information. And I love that you take that information and then you teach it, because
Yeah.
that's exactly the alignment that I'm on. Like, I've taken every experience. Like, I've also been in a marriage for 2 decades as well. I think you just celebrated your 21st, right? Congratulations. I'll be celebrating my 21st in September. So I'm like right behind you, girl. So I absolutely love that. But you have just in like not even, the first 10 minutes of this call, you have spoke volumes just with that bit. So I want to thank you for highlighting those things. And what is you said your mission is to help women business owners ditch the fear of showing up online. What does that look like?
So I don't know if you've been guilty of this, right? But a lot of us women play the comparison game, okay? Of, oh, look, she's showing up. Oh, look, she's doing this. Oh, look, she's doing that. We're all guilty, okay? But you mentioned before, you're you. There's no comparison. God made you a perfect individual. What you have right here and what you have right here, there is nothing that can compare you to anything. The path that you're on is your own, and that is what people connect with. People might not connect with me and my message, but they might connect with Nikki and her message. And there's no competition there. There is raising each other up and being able to help one another rise together. So when we have the ability to speak volume onto one another and to create that vulnerability and that visibility, and that your message just talks from the heart and not your head.
Yeah.
That is when you truly make those connections, and that audience starts to follow you.
I totally agree, because it's so true. Like, there is no competition if you don't want it to be, right? You can make that choice. You can make that decision. And let me tell you that when women are circled together, they can feel that genuine energy, that synergy, where something's beautiful is in the making, right? And I love that feeling. And I've been able to share that with a lot of you guys, with basically everyone. I mean, that's me. And I hope, it resonates as well on the other end
Right.
with those that I connect with. And it's, we have to get out of that mindset that there is too many people doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. There are billions of individuals out here waiting for each of us, right? And Melissa and I, we probably do the same thing. We do event hosting, right? I just hosted my first live event I've done online for quite some time, and we'll talk about that in a minute and your experience. But I, want to understand, why do you think women kind of have that resiliency, like not being able to really be happy for their peers? Where do you think that stems from?
That's a great question. I honestly don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I think it always comes back to fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, for instance, fear of, oh, my the way I look, or the way I sound. Oh, she sounds better. Oh, she looks better. All of those little comparisons, right?
Yeah.
But when you go back to loving that person that's inside of you, loving that inner child that's inside of you, then we let go of all the BS, the bull. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to curse
No,
here.
but I know what you mean.
Okay, the monkey brain, I call it. Okay, that's
Yes.
making all that rattling noise up there. When you connect to your heart and you go back to that inner child that you have, that you know that plays and doesn't have any flaws, um and that is pure innocence and love, then that's the place that you go back to, and that's the place where you're able to give from.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting, that we have these tools in us, right? And we kind of go with what the norm is. Like, if you're in a space, and you're in that inner hater stage, right? That's what I call the voice in the head. That's the inner hater, kind of telling you false information, because it's absolutely false at 100%. It's not, if your own mind is telling you that you're not great, that you're not worthy, you need to shut that off real quick. And personal development is the best place to get that. I would say that feed that you need, right? That medicine. Let's just say it that way. That's that. You have to really absorb the people around you that have that high energy that you wish you can have, and you can get it. It's about habits. It's about, again, decision making. You can choose to be happy or sad. You can choose to compare or not compare. Just know that the opposite of each of them, like when you're stuck in the middle and you can't make that decision, there's no progress, there's no growth, there's no one can see you. And all we want to do is be heard, right? Be heard at a capacity where it's authentic, it's genuine, and we're really looking to either receive help or get help. And there's people on both, sides of things. And just know that even as a coach, I'm learning every day. Like, that student in me never dies, and it won't, again, until, like you said, when it's your last day, when, like, God calls you back, right? It's just an ongoing thing. And, where there's no growth, there's death. It's
Stagnance.
just
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's just as simple as that. And so tell me about what you what challenges do you come up with within your coaching, your events and stuff like that? What transformations have you seen and you've been most proud of?
Uh, so it's funny that one thing for sure is that I find some women in different stages, right? Like a woman that knows she needs to get started, but is procrastinating, right? That list is forever going, right? So when we get her started and we have a plan of action, then she's on a roll. So that gets me fueled up, that gets her fueled up, and that creates momentum for herself, for her family, for her business. So that's exciting. Then when I see a woman that was in her head about video, about putting out content, about creating something for her business, and then she realizes, wow, it wasn't that hard. It was pretty simple, all the that wall that we kind of put up, it goes down, so that fills my cup, and to see them show up and having those tools. I always say, here are let's work out these things that we have, create a toolkit, and anytime you need it, you grab a tool from that toolkit, but we have to be aware of it, right? Like in that moment in time, oh, I have something right here on my pocket that I can utilize. So, but those are the things that really jazz me up.
That is awesome. You kind of described me a year ago, right? That was me in a room, not knowing what I was really doing there. I just knew I wanted to speak on a stage. As a corporate trainer, I, spoke in front of many, right? New people all the time, that it was easy for me. It was just like second nature. But speaking on a particular topic in front of new individuals about validation, about this exact point, why are we letting other people validate why we're procrastinating, right? Why we don't move on, or that comparison. And that all kind of was there, and the opportunity rose, and I made the decision. I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to be in here. But literally, like, it was a 7 o'clock in the morning event, and I'm looking around and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, what do I really have to offer? Even though I was an entrepreneur at that time, going strong for 2 years, in the multi-level marketing space with travel and stuff like that. I had left my business and started a notary business and a notary coaching. And I was like, what do I really have to offer? And that was the inner hater really kind of testing me to say, are you going to just leave, or are you going to stay here and stick it through? And I did. And just like you said, once they have those toolkits and once you activate that, it's like game on. Like, there's nothing that can stop you. Once you decide to make that decision, everything kind of flows. So thank you so much for bringing up that point, because I think that was crucial, definitely vital to knowing that that's a possibility, right? But if you don't do anything, nothing happens. So thank you for bringing that up. We're going to take a quick break and listen to our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk about the event in May that you volunteered for, get some of your feedback, as well as what you have coming up and how people could get a hold of you. So we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out. on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
We are back. We are back with Melissa. Kind of wanted just to re-show a highlight of what Empower to Inspire looked like back in May and what we're looking for it to look like starting on our tour 2024. If you want more information on that, you can go to our website at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com. But Melissa, how was your experience? I just want to publicly thank Ivy for connecting us so that we can get to know each other. And I believe that we actually worked back at Flashpoint together as well. And I didn't remember that because I was in the building. So I was like kind of all these moving parts. But yeah, so Ivy, I guess, reconnected us again. So I am so happy for that. So tell us about your experience at Empower to Inspire.
Well, I want to congratulate you for putting it all together, because as a fellow event hostess as well, I know how hard you worked and how particular you envisioned that day to be. And I'm sure that in my eyes, it was like, woo, 10 times more than how you probably envisioned it. Okay. It was amazing, incredible. The experience itself was so much value. I think it was like 20 something speakers in one day, right? And each speaker gave valuable points. And it's amazing because when sometimes you go to these events, right? You don't know what you're going to get, right? But each of these speakers had a voice, and you laid that platform for them. You brought community together, and the value in that is just priceless. So for anybody that is seeing what Nikki's doing behind the scenes, you definitely should go to her next event.
Oh, thank you so much. It was just an honor to have you there. And how many connections did you make? Did you meet some new people? Did you it was just awesome having you there. I wish I would have had more time with everyone, right? I was just like, I probably had a second of everybody's time for that day. So I can't wait to host something a little bit more like a 3-day, more networking, more chit-chatting type of stuff. So that's in the works. But yeah, so how many connections did you make that day?
I want to say anywhere between 7 and 9 connections. Yeah, because I was working the event. It was a little. I would have probably met more, you know. But that is a great opportunity, and that's something that I always share with folks, is that if you can just add one person to your friends list, you know, because you never know who that one person could lead you to. It doesn't have to be now. It could be 3 months from now, 6 months from now. But if you build on those relationships, then you will never know where they may lead.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just takes one that knows many, right? And I was kind of going through the numbers, right? I was going through the numbers on how many potential, like the benefit of being part of our community, right? And what the potential is. So we're going on tour 3 years, we're hitting 50 states. Each state, we have about 50 people that will be attending these events. Now, 50 times 50 is 2,500, right? Just simple math, simple, easy math. So 2,500, and you figure each of them, and we're going to go with the minimum. They know at least 3 people that are also looking for growth or your potential services, right? That's almost 8,000 new connections. And that's only if you decide to say yes and be in the room and learn, because we also teach how to maximize in those events. Because it's very, like, you have to go with a intention to serve. It's not about when you get in these rooms, what I've noticed, it's never about the dollar signs. Obviously there's going to be things to pick up for your growth, right? But it's always about that. Hello, who are you? What do you do? How can I help you? Who's your ideal client? Just little things like that, right? So just to share, I've been able to grow my community in just a year, 2,000 plus, because of all the events I've went to, or the masterminds I've attended, or the online virtuals. And I literally go in there, like even now, I don't know if this is happening to you. Like, are you on LinkedIn?
I'm not. Everybody's telling me to go on, and I'm just like, oh.
Okay, so let me tell you what to expect on LinkedIn real quick, because I think this is going to help a lot of people out as well. So on LinkedIn, what I've noticed, it's definitely like a career business site, is more professional. People are really looking, obviously, to sell you their service. And for the most part, some of the service that they're trying to get me to check into, I already have systems in place. But I literally tell them, like, hey, I'm not looking for that service right now, but I would love to know you, because maybe someone's looking for your service. I have a podcast, I have a community, and I want to know who you are and what you do, to see if I'll add you onto my list. And sometimes they're like, just okay, and they won't connect with me. I wish people would like give me that opportunity, like, hey, okay, you don't need my service, but I would love to connect with you on that level, because I mean, that just shows me, if we're going to be working together, you don't care what I do. You just want to know what I can get from you, right?
Right.
So I think the etiquette needs to be a little bit more updated. I don't know who's teaching these people to do these things. What would you suggest on that? Like, if you went to LinkedIn, how would you approach someone? Would you like ignore them? Or is it happening on Facebook?
I would tell them to read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I love it.
Like how to be a human being. I forget who said it. Like, you don't directly go to bed with the first person you see. You got to date them first, right? You have to
absolutely
get to know them first. And that's like anything in life. If you want, and I also read somewhere that it is harder to get a new client than to retain a existing client, because the existing client will not only that you'll have that relationship, right, growing, but they'll also know your work, know your values, and refer business to you.
Yeah.
So why not be a human being, right, and connect more, right? They say don't look at people like they're dollar signs, because we're not. Okay. Each and every one of us are selling something, but how about we get to know one another so we can see if we align and if we can help each other grow, right? That's the environment that's the culture that we should be building.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've seen that in many. Fortunately, we do have that injected in our communities. There's still just some amazing ways that, and then nurture the ones that already invested in you. go back, tell them how are they doing, even if they've been a client like from 2 years ago
Right.
and they may, they're growing and exploding. Continue to highlight them, continue to cheer them on. It's not about a transaction, it's about a long, authentic relationship. Like, I want to be able to sit at a dinner table with you and be able to be like, what's going on, like what's next on our list, right? What can we do together? How can we collaborate? That's like always the goal. So when you have that intention, and these are just some great tips that we've been throwing out there, you have been pulling out a lot for me. And that's why I love these podcasts too and hosting them, because one, I get to know more who my guests are, right? Even though we've had plenty of conversations, and we've been following each other on social media and all that good stuff, but when we get to have every opportunity to chit chat and kind of pick your brain, it also stems another idea. There's also another possibility, another opportunity. If you're not having conversations, none of that can come out. Like, literally, sometimes I even get downloads like right here in these spaces when I'm speaking to these amazing guests that I always have the privilege of having on. So, Melissa, what are you working on right now? What is your mission, and what's next?
What's next? So I love that. I continue to love helping women ditch that fear, right? Because we all have some sort of it, right? If it's going to show up consistently on social media or even creating content. So what I decided to do is host a workshop that will, one, help you put all those ideas into paper, and then from them having them on paper, create reels, create live video, create stories, that will highlight all those ideas. And that way we can attract the right people to you. So I'm going to be hosting that next month in August. And I am excited about it because the idea is to get you into this last quarter in momentum, full momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely share that information with me so I can share it and keep, putting that forward as well. I would love to be a part of it, to check it out. I'm always looking for ways, and I've done reels, I've done TikTok videos, I've done a little bit of all of it. And I think there's better ways that I can do it. Like, I can jazz it up. So I need to, get that pizzazz in there. So I'm totally in.
Yeah,
So definitely
the
share that.
attention, because the thing with social media is like everybody's wanting the attention, right?
Yeah.
So and our what is it called that I'm trying to say? That the time that it takes for us when we're looking at our news feed is like milliseconds. Before it used to be like 7 seconds, right? And
Yes.
now it literally is milliseconds. It's all about what's written on that image, or what catches your eye, if something's moving. So there's little tips and tricks that I have to share about that.
That's awesome. Do you also help with social media schedule planning, like how to bulk and do all that good stuff?
So everybody works differently, and there's not one set plan for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to speak to each individual to see what works best for them, because
Yeah.
what works best for you might not work great for me. But giving them the opportunity or the chance, and say, okay, this work for you, like a 30-day calendar, building out their ideas that way. But not everybody's like that. One person will be like, oh, Melissa, I can't do 30 days, but I can do a week. Let's do it. Let's just work out the week, So.
Awesome. So so funny, I had a conversation with my wife yesterday and told her that I need to start going live more, and that I do have a fear of going live, like that initial
Getting started.
pressing that button, right?
Scary
Like,
button.
I have the content, I have the material, I'm not in a distracted area. Like, how do I go and press that start button? And she did not believe me. She's like, no way. She's like, I don't believe that, not even for a second. You're always on the phone, you're always recording. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a big difference when once that button is pressed, it's go time. Like, you cannot falter that. You have to just continue to
Keep on
go.
going. Right.
Exactly. But it's really that initial, even when I do my podcast, and I don't know what it is, I talk myself out of it, obviously, because it's just a crazy idea I have in my head. But my goal is like, okay, because I don't prepare for it, right? I know who I'm speaking with. I know kind of what their story is, but I like to let things happen
Natural.
organically. When I like kind of scripted and stuff like that, it's not
Doesn't work.
authentic. It's not
Right.
me. And I
Right.
just like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do it anyway.
Right.
So it was just surprising for her to think that I just love to do this all day. And I do. I really do. Once I press that record button, it's like all
Game
good.
on, game
But
on.
it's sometimes like I know I could do more. So that's why I love that you're having that workshop, and can't wait to tap into that.
Nikki, if I may, I know we're finishing up, but I want to share how I've overcome that, because
Yeah,
you're not there.
absolutely.
You're not alone there. You're not alone there. And that's totally normal. Those emotions, those feelings, those butterflies. It's just like when you're first going on a date, the first date, it's like, oh, sweaty palms, butterflies on the stomach, not knowing what to expect, right? Well, the same thing happens with us with this camera. So what I tell my girls and anybody that I share this with is create a ritual. Whatever type of ritual it could be. So for instance, it could be a little dance, 10, 15-second dance, it could be a mantra that you want to recite to yourself. It could be an affirmation. It could be reading something positive, right? And from your journal, or reading something from a book. Create a ritual right before you press the go button. And then if anybody has read, and if you haven't, I highly recommend the book by Mel Robbins, 5-Second Rule. Okay. 5-second rule. Okay. And I do this. This is the second year. No, going on to my third year. 2 years ago, I read the book. Okay. I used to be the mom that said 1, 2, 3. Do you know what I mean? But like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Like, no, it was aggravating. It was stressful for me. When I read that book, The 5-Second Rule, it made sense. She goes into detail about the brain science, all about that, right? But for me to tell you a quick thing is 5-second rule is a countdown backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Something happens in your brain that activates you to go. Okay. That countdown, counting backwards, right? When I implemented it with my children, I didn't have to go all the way to 1. By 3, those boys were moving. So, okay. And then when I implemented it with myself for things that I procrastinated on, okay, and then created that ritual. Okay, I need to do laundry. Don't want to do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Playlist on my music, and let's bang out this laundry. So that is my tip for not only going live and pressing that daunting button, right? But also for anything that you have in life.
That is golden. And it's so simple. And we know this.
Yeah.
We know this. This is the thing. So I love that. Have a ritual. I did speak with Sanette that had me pick a forever song, which my forever song is It's My Time to Shine, which was my theme song for my event. And she had me like do this anchoring, like pick something on my body that I can empower myself, because that's my word, right? Empower. And I picked my beauty mark, which she was like surprised. She's like, wow, that's different. So that has been helping me grow. But I love the spiritual, the ritual, and I love just telling yourself out loud, like, we're gonna do this. Let's go. I think that's a great starter, but you have to be like in position. You have to be like, okay,
not
like
sitting
you're about
down.
to go
Definitely
on that
not
race.
sitting down.
Yes, like you're about to go on that race, right? I love it. Oh my goodness. How can people get a hold of you, Melissa? how can they get a hold of you?
So I will share, and if you can add it into your link, into your description there. 2 places is I love hanging out is on Facebook. So Facebook Messenger, and secondly, via my Gmail. So I'll share that info with you.
Yeah, I have it. I'll definitely put it out there. Definitely connect with Melissa. That last thing you really dropped was actually the golden nugget, but you dropped so many gems on this call. And it's so true that we just have to, like, even listening to podcasts, like there's so much information out there. And when coaches, when you're just not ready for a coach, whether it's financially, start with the books, right? Start with at least reading something positive, something motivational in your space and what you want to go through, and then start again building those relationships. There's a lot of just generic conversations that can be super huge, and then tap into a coach. How do you feel about people having life coaches? Do you have a coach? Have you had a coach? Do you encourage coaching?
Definitely. I think it's super important to have a coach. If you don't have a coach, start with an accountability partner, because when you have that support from another individual and are able to run your ideas, hold each other accountable, I always say to my clients, it's like, where are you today? Do you need my support? Do you need my butt kicking? Which one is it? Sometimes we need a little butt kicking, right? Yeah. So it's important. And you know what? Always something that I also learned along the way is that if you're in need of a certain thing, like a certain problem that you're currently having, look for that type of coach. Don't look for somebody else, because that somebody else is going to deteriorate or lessen the time of your growth. Right. Okay. So always look for that person in the right field.
That's perfect, because I never thought of that, because I had many mentors and coaches, and I have my main ones now, but I felt like every community that I was in had something different to offer until I knew what my real message was and what I wanted to kind of put out there. So that is great. Thank you so much, Melissa. It has been absolutely phenomenal chatting with you, as always.
My pleasure.
Thank you guys all for tuning in to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Have a wonderful and beautiful day, and always catch our Ladies of Leadership live podcast on Thursdays at 6:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day and make it count, as I always say. Bye, guys.